I'm a little worried about the news. I think it's unwell. I'm not talking about that 24-hour Prince Harry telethon where we saw a panel of commentators on Sky News moan about press freedom when actually what they wanted was to make money out of showing us pictures of a royal bottom. When we see Derek Acora, TV psychic, rid a house in Sunderland of a ghost, we realise it's all part of some bizarre tabloid pantomime. What I'm worried about are the serious stories. Stories about our health. I'm going to show you two studies, one sinister and one silly, both widely reported. Have a look at this headline from the Daily Mail this month. I know what you're thinking, it's a little bit scary. I drink tea. Do I have cancer? What's a prostate? Well, before we go into that, I want to tell you a little bit about this study. So what they did is they looked at 6,000 people in the 70s and checked to see what their lifestyle was like, how much they ate, how much they drank, cigarettes, and exercise. And over a period of 38 years, they checked to see which ones got prostate cancer. So what they found out was this, that 4.6% of the people who drank just a little bit of tea, 0 to 3 cups, got prostate cancer, compared to 6.4% of those who drank a load, which is like over 7 cups a day. Now, the reason I'm reporting on this one is because this is a story that was widely reported across the media. The Daily Mail tends to make up a lot of stuff, but this is actually something that appeared in the Telegraph, the Independent, BBC, Huffington Post, and lots of other papers. You can see here, BBC actually going even further than the Daily Mail with that scary headline. So let's look at the study in detail. First of all, the mathematicians of you in the room will realize that 50% more of 4.6 is actually 6.9. Am I being pedantic? Sure, but it's cancer, so let's look at the details. First of all, what about the strength of the tea? Did they drink tea with milk? Did they drink it with sugar? Did they have biscuits with their tea? Are hobnobs actually a secret carcinogen? What about the people who drank more than 7 cups of tea a day? Maybe they were prone to exaggeration. Is it possible that someone who makes 7 cups of tea a day is actually really boring? Maybe boredom caused the cancer. And now what about the most really important point to this, which is what sort of cancer are we talking about? Over 50% of prostate cancers don't need any treatment, they don't have a change in life expectancy, and you can go on living fine without them. We don't know because no one asked these questions. That 50%, it only amounted to 17 people out of 6,000, or less than 1/3% of the entire group. But it got you thinking, didn't it? It's quite scary. The thing about this, though, is that when you start looking at these sort of things, it gets very worrying. This is a list of all the things that Daily Mail says give you cancer. So if you want to know, should I be worried about tea? Have a read of this. But that's a silly study. I'm worried about sneaky ones. And the most upsetting news for me is the news that isn't news at all. It's when it's advertising. A study by the Australian Centre for Independent Journalism found that 55% of the stories that you read every day come from a press release. That means someone is trying to sell you an idea or a product. Well, what does that mean for you and me? Well, it means that we get this sort of stuff. No, not pictures of Taylor Swift. Above that, the health one. This is a shock news study in which a yogurt company by the name of Danone claimed that lots of women thought that stress caused them to get particularly unwell in their stomachs. Now, the problem with this is, of course, that most people aren't doctors, so they don't know what gave them bad digestion. It could have been a dodgy kebab or their addiction to cheese. But that's not really important because that study was based on opinion. What was really interesting about this study is that the nutritionists involved told you to look at a website. They said the World Gastroenterology Organization is taking this so seriously, this problem, that they've launched a global campaign called Love Your Tummy. And there's a website there. And on the website, they've a fantastic tool in order to help you aid your digestion. So if you have a sluggish system, they suggest that you drink fermented dairy products with probiotics. If you have a troubled tummy, same. Gassy gut, again, same thing. Bloated belly. Even if you're perfectly healthy, they say in their top 10 tips for health that you should eat fermented dairy products with probiotics. There's a woman there who's delighted to have flatulence. Now, the interesting thing about this study is that if you look at the website, it'll look pretty normal. There's no other logo on it except for that of the WGO, an independent body. But then if you do a DNS lookup, you'll find out the entire website is actually registered to a company called Danone, a multi-million euro company that's recently had to withdraw health benefit claims about their eating products, which are, of course, fermented dairy products with probiotics. I'm a little worried about this sort of development. I don't know about you, but this is the lengths people will go to get you to drink their yogurts. So if you see something fishy in the news, we'd like you to ask a couple of questions. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. So if you hear something fishy, you think you don't like the sound of something, why don't you ask them, Where's the proof and who's making these claims? Thank you very much.